hello, everybody out there. Welcome to the first Heart of the Matter show. I am so excited to see you, Amanda. I can't hardly contain myself.
Congratulations, Alison. This is #1 show.
Thank you. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we'll just wait a few minutes for some of our viewers to hop on here. I know we've kind of had the word out there for a couple of weeks, so just excited to have people hop on and join us for the first one. And for those of you, oh yes, Amanda, woohoo! I love that you do that, and I was so going to create my own little tagline. My next one is on Friday, so it is my plan to have some of those kind of ready for some.
I have everything I need right here in
yeah, your nonverbal cues. I love it. I love it. Yes, it's perfect. So I may do some like thumbs up or hearts or something as my nonverbal acknowledgement of like the things that are happening. So if you are hopping on here live or on the replay, hello and welcome. My name is Alison Proffit. I'm the founder of Amazing Journey Coaching and a new movement called Heart of the Matter. Heart of the Matter really came out of my own personal desire to help human resources professionals and really help them reconnect with their heart and their purpose so that they can go in and help their organizations thrive. And as I was creating a program for them, I thought, wow, like there could really be a great platform to share the stories of other heartfelt leaders and individuals who are truth tellers, disruptors, these people that have a story and had some kind of powerful moment in their life that really struck them to their core and made them realize that they were maybe disconnected from their heart and were doing things that maybe they thought other people wanted them to be doing. And so really just that's the kind of heart of where this show came from. And I have Amanda joining us today as our very first guest. And Amanda is a really special person to me. So a little about me, I am fairly new to Colorado. Amanda and I both live here in northern Colorado. And I met Amanda 1 week after moving to a new town. And a little about her, she is the proud founder of Conscious Business Connections. She is a BizWest 40 Under 40 award recipient. And she's also a speaking coach. And she has a new program. We'll talk a little bit about the program a little later on. But I met Amanda through Conscious Business Connection. I was 1 week into living in a new town. I didn't know anybody, and I thought I need to get out of the house and meet people. Conscious Business Connection, that sounds like people I might like to be around. So I went to her meeting, and the topic was about storytelling. And I had big stories to tell because I'd just been through some transitions. And come to find out, Amanda was launching a storyteller class. And so that really furthered our connection with each other. I learned a lot from her in her style of being a speaker coach. And we really had this great connection. I was able to get on the stage with her and hear how she allowed other people to step into their story. And so there's a sort of a personal connection here, Amanda, and I'm really honored that you decided to be my first guest on this platform that is really all about having people come in and share their story. So if you are watching this live or on the replay, give Amanda some hearts for the work that she does. Click your heart button, give her some likes, and yes, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And thank you to Amanda for being the first guest here. So with that, I would love to sort of pass the stage over to you and have you tell us a little bit about your story.
Thank you, Alison, very much. And just so you know, I was also touched by you when you came into CBC. If anyone doesn't know Alison, she is just a bubbly light of totally heartfelt energy. And so I remember when you came in CBC, you immediately came up to me and the presenter and just shared your heart with us. And I knew that you were going to be like an important person for me to keep getting to know. And so then you were able to join the storyteller class, and now it's been so great. So
yeah.
My story is, I've always had an entrepreneur mindset, but I had a business crash and burn horribly in my late 20s. And I was kind of licking my wounds for a few years, and I ended up having the very good luck of working for a speaker and an author who just put out her book, and she went on to this big time success. And I was, working with her going, man, I'm getting to watch behind the scenes everything that she's doing. This is amazing. Wow. I just by working with her, I know I'm going to go out and my next business journey is just going to be this instant success, So I get trained in this technique, and I put out my shingle that's like, hey, I'm teaching presence classes now. And I had this whole community. I already had started CBC. I'd been going for 3 years. This is my hometown. I live in my hometown. Okay. I know everybody. And I put out my shingle, and it was crickets. Horrible. Terrible. I had 2 clients for my first 4 months of business. Just, very disappointing. And I was like, confused and frustrated. And I also was kind of angry at my community. I was like, what the heck, guys? Like, what more do you want from me? I'm a giver. I've got a good heart. Like, what's the deal? And so, luckily I had a mentor that dragged me, like gave me a free ticket and dragged me to a marketing conference. And this marketing conference guy, I felt like he was talking just to me. So one of the big things he said was get out on stages and speak about what you're about to teach people, give them a taste.
Right.
And I went, okay, I'll try it. What do I have to lose? So I put on 4 speaking engagements over 2 months. I was like, I'm going to do these 4, see what happens. And sure enough, boom, I had 23 clients by the end of that. I had filled classes and, done. Listen, that was it. I was off to a roaring start, and speaking was such a huge part of it. And, as I went along, I was in marketing. Finally, I niched to training speakers because I felt like I started to see the speaking industry kind of go the way of like just chaos. Like, it's kind of a circus out there. Anybody can be on a video. Anybody can be on a stage. So my concern started to become like, let's make this genuine, authentic connection up there.
Yeah. And that's what I loved about your message in that first event that I came to. Really, it was a networking event that had like a speaker that was presenting on a topic. And I just remember like you had such care for the people that were there. And like, I felt home, right? When I walked through those doors, it was really, really special. And I think that people that are really heart-centered, that's what they strive for. And they are looking for that in the world. And I know you and I have had conversations about the corporate world because that's not your background. And
right.
Our conversations have really been this really interesting thing where you're like, I can't even imagine what that's like, where like in the corporate world, it's so much negativity and there's a lot of, and not everybody's like that. That's the thing. Like there is this misconception that like the corporate world is just like that. And there are so many really great people that have their heart really at the center of what they're doing. And we talk about sometimes feeling like you're wearing a mask. And I think that being aware that there are other conscious and heart-centered leaders and workers out there helps us feel like, oh, we can do this. Maybe together we can begin making some of these shifts. And I just think that I love the idea of kind of bringing that into teaching people how they can come and tell their stories.
Oh man, I just so am excited for the work that you're doing, Alison, because I think that mask is huge, and out here in the jungle of, entrepreneurship and business, and also in corporate, the good hearts can get hidden behind those masks for protection reasons, for all kinds of different reasons, getting your voice heard at the table. And it's the same thing on a stage. All these good hearts are like wanting to show up and be really the most real speaker you've ever seen. And yet there's like these supposed tos on stage and in business and in corporate, and the supposed tos sometimes get in the way of the real stuff. And it's just heartbreaking because everyone's craving that real stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's true even here on social media too. There's a lot of research that's been done about the fact that the world is so much more connected through technology, but people are feeling more alone than ever before. And it's just a really kind of fascinating paradigm that's going on here. Oh man.
I'm sorry, I have to tell you what I heard the other day. AI taking over, everyone afraid of AI.
Yeah,
I heard that is not always stands for artificial intelligence. It also stands for artificial intimacy. And I thought that was so great. Watch out for AI.
That's wow.
Love it.
Wow, I'm going to put that up on the screen.
Nice, yeah.
Artificial. I don't know that I'm supposed to be giving you the play-by-play of what I'm doing here, but artificial intimacy. It's the first one, so we can do whatever we want.
It's so risky out there, man. I mean, you think you're connected, you think you're vibing, but where is the core and the heart, Alison, the heart of the matter?
Yeah.
How can we really help people get into their heart and connect on that level and bring it to the supposed to places, bring it to social media, corporate, all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. If you are feeling what Amanda just said, throw the hearts up on the screen because we are not wanting artificial intimacy. If that touched your heart, say it in the comments, post up a heart, or, share this with other people that really, really feel the same way, because I think that the tools are valuable tools. It's just in how we use them. I think so. So let's get a little more personal here, Amanda. I know you're an open book. You tell stories up on stage. What was the mask that was weighing so heavy in your hands that you wanted to kind of take that mask down? It's like we lost Amanda here for a minute, but that's okay. We can talk a little bit about what that looks like on our end. For me, when I think about the moments that I was not feeling like I was in my skin anymore, I really had to get curious about what that might be doing to the work that I was doing, to the people that I was serving in my roles, and it was really distracting. Like if you've ever had to do the exercise where you hold your arms like above your head and you have to hold them there for a period of time and then see how long you can hold it. It's like over time, like your arms get tired and you can't sustain that forever. And that's kind of what it's like when you're holding up that mask. So we'll wait here for a moment for Amanda's connection to pop back up.
Shoot, can you
hear me at all? Technology, so we'll just roll with it. So when we talk about the heart of the matter, the thing that is really important to do is to think about cutting through the noise of what other people may be expecting of you, And then also cutting through your own expectations of yourself, because sometimes we get so mired in what we think we should be doing and how we think we should be showing up that we become lost in it. Our truth becomes lost in what it is that we really want in our truth. And so looks like Amanda's joining back with us here. Amanda, I was just sharing with the listeners that when we think about how do we connect with our own heart and getting to that heart of the matter, we can really start evaluating what are these expectations that we think other people have of us, and then what are the expectations that we have of ourselves, because we then carry around all these shoulds of how we think we should be doing, what we think we should be doing, and we're missing out on our truth. And that's sort of a way that we can evaluate what our mask looks like, and if we even have a mask on. So that was sort of what we talked about in our little technology delay here.
Yeah, actually, I caught most of it. I was still able to see you and hear you. And so I just rebooted when you said you couldn't see me. So.
Oh, nice. Good. Yeah. Thank you for hopping back on. So your mask, what was your mask, and what caused you to kind of come to that place of putting it down?
Yeah, I think for me, one of the biggest masks that I still deal with and have to watch, and I don't want this to be a humble brag at all, because it's not, but it feels like it's in the realm of overgiving, which makes, I don't want to sound like, oh, I'm just such a giver, but it's a better way to say that is thinking about what someone else is thinking of me more than thinking of what I'm really feeling and experiencing, and wanting to be there for them and what they need, more than like even knowing how I'm even feeling about the situation. So of course this has shown up in like tons of relationship drama and stuff like that, which do I have stories for you? But
not that long of a show.
Not that long of a show, not that kind of show. But where it's shown up in my business has been that I was constantly being the one to ask, like, what can I sell? What does everybody need? Versus like, what do I most want to give?
Right.
And, there's that quote, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive, because the world needs people that have really come alive. And so where I most saw that happening was when I was a marketing coach, and I'd be in my discovery sessions with people, and maybe they were selling products or, health, massage school or yoga or different things like that. And I would be like, okay, but are you interested in speaking as part of your marketing at all? And I would always ask that. And it took me so long to catch on to the pattern, because all I really wanted to do was help them get up on stage and speak, but I was so scared of that, because that's such a small niche, right? Like, that's everyone's biggest fear is public speaking. That's the statistic out there, more people afraid of public speaking than death.
Yeah.
So I didn't want a niche. I didn't want a niche to just speakers. That's like cutting off 95% of my market. Oh no.
Yeah.
And so it took me a long time to finally hear that pattern, that I'm constantly seeking speakers, and finally go, okay, you know what? All I care about is genuine, authentic, inspiring communication.
Yeah.
I care about helping people be real on stage, because the stage has so much power.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, just the fact that you're on stage, people give you a ton of credibility. They see you as an expert. They let you into their world. And, if you really want to go to the things that I saw up there, I would see speakers say things that I know they were not living, talk that I knew they were not walking. I got, when I was working with my mentor behind the scenes, not her, but other people in that industry, I got to see some of the behind the scenes stuff.
Mm.
and the tricks of the trade of speaking. And I mean, you can call it persuasion or maybe even manipulation. There's some dirty, dirty stuff going on up there on stages.
Yes, if I could hit my love button, I would, but hit those hearts if you're feeling what Amanda's saying, because I think that most people, this is probably a PG-13 show, most people can like see through the bullshit, right? Like
I hope they can.
everybody has a BS meter.
Yeah.
And when it goes off, that kind of factor of know, like, and trust, which is like, I mean, that's so tied into like these things that are deep inside of our brains that alert us on when we need to be protected from people that we're meeting. And I think that you're so spot on. And I know in the corporate world, I've seen that a lot of times where, you know, you're working in a job and then you have a manager who's, you know, maybe not the greatest manager. And when I was in HR, like I would have to coach those managers, and they would say things that I was like, okay, like, yep, like you're feeding me the line. I hear you. But all signs are pointing to that's not how you're really showing up when you step outside of my office.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to operate in that. Like, what do you do with that, right? And as people, we, you know, I mean, you look. This is not a political show, but if you look at the things that are happening in politics, you look at that and you say, what's going on up on that stage?
Yes. Which one of these says yes?
Let's find the right one and hold it up there for the people that are just hopping on. Amanda has these great little signs that she holds up. Yeah, great work. Yeah, that one's spot on. And a good old woohoo for what's going on those stages up there. And so it sounds like you really took that aha moment of recognizing that you kept really gravitating to speaking and wanting to kind of bring authenticity into that, and helping people really find their platform for being able to share their story in a meaningful and impactful way.
Yes.
Is kind of the action you took.
Yep. And you know, I feel like one thing that goes on when people get up on stage and manipulate and lie is it gives all speakers a bad name. It scares the good people away from speaking. Kind of like maybe you could say the used car salesman stereotype have scared a lot of good people away from sales.
Yeah.
You know? And it just can't happen like that, because what we're craving more than ever is authenticity and vulnerability on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time as we have this manipulation stuff, we also have people like Brene Brown, who are like,
love,
get your flaws on stage right now. Get it out there. We want to see it. It's connecting. Come on, people. Vulnerability is everything. And you know, this is the time. This is the time for that to take.
Yes, I love that so much, Amanda. And I see some of the responses we're getting. Jules, Jennifer, they're on here listening, and a bunch of hearts going up there. And I just think that people, based on the thing that we talked about before, the artificial intimacy, people want to know that there are other people out there that care, that have gone through the trials and tribulations, and that they came out on the other side. And not only that they came out on the other side, but they're thriving. Yeah. And if we can get more of that out there, which is part of the purpose of this show, I mean, how beautiful, right? We can start drowning out the noise of this other kind of stuff that's coming out there on the stage, and kind of say, like, no, we're going to shine our light in this other direction. Yes. And, you know, when you talk about speakers getting a bad name or used car salesmen having a bad reputation, I mean, like, my heart comes from a place of feeling that way from human resources. I mean, imagine anytime I would call somebody up to the office, they'd be like, oh my God, I got to go to HR. What did I do wrong?
Wow. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
No,
So
like
true.
we're just people too, like and of course sometimes it was something that I had to talk about, but I mean it didn't always need to be that way. And there's so many great HR people out there, and then they're just like in anything, there's some not so great ones out there, and the not so great ones give great ones a bad reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked to a lot of people as I've developed my Heart of the Matter program for HR people. And when I share more about kind of my experience and my perspectives, they're like, wow, I never thought about HR that way. Like, yeah, they're humans too.
We actually have humans working in our HR department. It's amazing.
Yeah, imagine that. And so I just think that there is so much power in us being vulnerable, and there's a stigma in doing that in the workplace. And part of me envies the fact that you've not worked in that corporate world, and you've kind of been able to kind of stay out of that by means of the path that you chose, and that's awesome. And I'm envious in some way, but I'm really
in some ways it's
I'm grateful for the fact that I've been able
to so many people share.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that there's beauty in the fact that there are people that are out there living their life, not having to have been in that corporate kind of negativity, because it shows the fact that like you can live your life that way, right? Like
it definitely can.
There's choices to be made in every situation, and so.
But I will say this about living out here in the jungle, is that what brought me out here is.
Oh no, we lost Amanda. Hold on. We lost Amanda, and she was on a. Oh, there you are.
Are you? Can I still hear me? Okay.
I can see you and hear you, but I lost your sound for a moment. So
okay, good.
Say what brought you out to the jungle. And for those of you that are just joining, this is Amanda Fewell. Fewell. And she is joining us here on the first ever episode on the Heart of the Matter. And so she's going to tell us about what brought her to the jungle, and the jungle meaning the world of entrepreneurship. Some of our listeners are entrepreneurs, and some of them are working in corporate and have this burning desire in their heart to like get out there and be able to follow their dreams and their passions, or be able to find that sense of peace in the work that they're doing and how they can show up authentically. So Amanda, tell us what brought you to the jungle of.
So what brought me? I call it like out in the wild, because one thing that is more true out in the wild, and I can say this because my husband has been in corporate for 10 years. He had this really steady sense of security with that paycheck and the health benefits and stuff like that, which is really great parts of corporate. But what brought me out here was a sense of independence and being able to make all my own rules and make all my own decisions. And while that is true to an extent, I have found that if I want to grow at all, I will always be a part of a team. I will always have to work with difficult personalities. I will always have people that let me down and have to deal with me being human, letting other people down too. I mean, that is not something you escape just by being out in the wild on your own. There's still a lot of people out here. That's and you got to work with everybody, and there's no glue holding you together. There's no, corporate entity, making a lot of decisions. You're making every single decision out here. So I just want to say the tools of human resources and the strengths of taking care of yourself and assessing your needs, and not just playing the game of the business, but playing this, I call it like your secondary game, like behind the scenes. How's this going for you?
Yes.
Not just how well are you succeeding, but like how's it feeling for you? I mean, that is constant across any work.
Yes, checking in with your heart and yourself to really kind of get that sense. It's interesting. I've had some conversations with people that are recently at this intersection of their careers, and they're having to have these hard conversations with themselves, like, oh, I've spent 15 years doing X, Y, and Z, being in marketing, being in engineering, being in accounting. And I did that because it's what my dad told me I should do to be successful, to make them proud. I did that because I thought there was money to be made in this area. And then when they find themselves at this crossroads where they're like, okay, well, I've either, I was forced to this point, right? Like through a layoff or whatever the case may be, that tends to be the case. And then it's, so do I want to do more of the same? Or is this an opportunity to kind of take a leap and follow my heart? And when people are at that intersection, there's a sense of urgency about them because they feel like they need to figure that out and tune in with themselves before they choose which direction on the road they go. And that's great. But imagine if you came to that moment of looking inside and evaluating that stuff when you weren't in a place of desperation of having to make that decision. When you were already working, you kind of have that security, and then you can kind of say, is this the path I want to be on? Could I make some other decisions? Do I want to go to school? Do I want to start evaluating another career path? And if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? Maybe you'll never lose your job, and then you'll just be in that job for 20 years. And then 20 years goes by, and then, what did you do with that 20 years? Was it really what connected with you deeply? And guess what, people? Like, it's okay. It changes as your life goes on. It's not something that has to remain static, nor should it, right? Like, we're evolving beings. We grow, we change, we have brand new experiences. So check in often, I think, is like really an important part of living a super satisfied life and also making a difference. Because I think if we all really tune more into what brings us joy, what's our lane that we do really well and that we enjoy, that will result in a better world in a lot of different ways. I that's my belief. I'm not sure if everybody subscribes to that, but what do you think on that?
I completely agree. If you are not checking in, like if you're only checking the outer indicators of success, numbers, bank account, days off, I don't know, number of years you've been married, number of whatever, like
your title.
Numbers. Yeah, of your business. How many clients did I call? I mean, there's totally time and space for that, and those are all good practices, but you are leaving a whole leg behind if you're only working with those external factors. And what I found is it's really important to check in internally and take that step with the next leg.
Yeah.
Really assess fulfillment levels for myself. One thing that I've started recently, which you've helped me with some, Alison, is really not just dabbling in my artistic side, but really giving myself a whole day or a whole afternoon to just go for it with my art expression, which is painting for me. And no, I did not paint this bird behind me. Everybody asked me that, but I wish. But yeah, and that has been something that has really filled my tank and let me come to my work with fresh eyes. And I know everyone has that. For my husband, it's golf. He gets a day on the golf course. That man is a whole fresh new being. And it's something that nothing else can fill him that way.
Right.
You know, as great as we're doing as a couple, or as great as his business is doing, or he had this other win over here. If he doesn't get on that golf course at least once a month, I mean, at least, you know, he just starts to kind of crunchify.
Yeah.
Grumpify. You know, me too. It's everybody. So
that's great. Yeah, Amanda, for the listeners or the people watching, Amanda is an amazing artist. And if she gives us permission, I'll post up a link so you can check out some of her art. It's available for purchase. Beautiful stories around kind of what was going on in those pieces. It's so beautiful, Amanda. I would love to hear kind of what happens for you in that artistic expression when you're in that phase.
Man,
we hit her heart.
Thank you for asking me. Yeah. There is something so powerful for me in my art room, at my art desk with my art colors and paints and canvases. One thing that is pretty true for me in my business world is that I'm constantly on the hunt to help my clients get their results, right? And the path for that is often coming in and centering and kind of going a backwards way around it, where we let go of the results and then we get to authenticity, and then the result shows up more magically. But we're still all in pursuit of that result. And that's fun for me. It's kind of a little bit of my masculine side coming out. I like to be a hunter. I'm a good huntress. I like to hunt with people and for people and etc. But that is the opposite of what happens for me in my art room. It is really not about pursuing a result. It's about enjoying the process. Mm-hmm. And that is part of the blessing of not being the most skilled or trained artist. I mean, I've got to jump in with this canvas and I've got to let go of whatever I have in my head. Yeah. Because it's a conversation and a dance between me and the painting. And I'm going to do a little bit, and then the paint is going to be like, I'm going to do this. Yeah. I have to listen to that and go back and forth and work with whatever medium I'm working with, maybe with like metal or fluid or sponges or, whatever I'm working with. And I have to really listen, and then I have to like let go and see what shows up. So it's a great way for me to get into my feminine side, my partnership side, my dance of life side, listening side, and just really have that be the only thing that we're doing right now. I mean, yeah. I get to say the size of the canvas. That's about it. Then, the
colors that you start with.
Maybe, yeah. But often inspiration is like, pick that one. And I'm like, what? I don't even like brown or yellow or whatever, And it's like, do it.
Yeah. And like I said, I did post the link for your art site on in the comments. Her art is just it's just beautiful, and I'm excited that I got to be a part of helping you with some of that. So it's inspired me to want to become an artist and learn some of the things that you've done.
Wow.
My thing is singing. I love to sing. So, I'll sing my heart out anywhere I am when music's playing. It doesn't matter what the channel is. And I don't care who's listening, and I'll just kind of do it. So, and I think that there's different outlets, right? Like what you just talked about, tapping into your creative side. That's like very much sort of that right-brained thing that kind of comes out. And so whatever your lane is that you tend to go in, encourage you to go into another lane and tap into that to explore that. If you're a super creative person and you resist structure and format, try something, because that I think is a way that we can kind of stretch into something new and uncover some new things in a way that it may end up feeding the other stuff that we do.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, so awesome. So when you think back to the way that by stepping into following your heart, and allowing you to then go and do this work that kind of serves others, but in a way that is meaningful to the world, what impact do you feel like that's had?
Oh man, that's a great question. I mean, I think the biggest impact is probably the first 2 minutes after I wake up in the morning, how I'm feeling. Because it's just such a difference to wake up and start thinking right away about my to-do list. I gotta do that, gotta remember that, gotta versus waking up and being like, whoa, I get to work on this today. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, today's the day for this, and for a lot of my recent days, it's been like, oh my gosh, we're working on TEDx today. Like, that's a big deal. And so to get my own juices flowing in an excited way, it's almost like how I used to wake up when it was summer vacation and be like, oh, we're going to Six Flags today. Like, that's today.
Yes.
Oh gosh, no more waiting. You know, I that's a huge impact on my personal life.
Yeah. Yeah. What about outwardly of yourself?
So I'm just there's so many great impacts. I've definitely had speakers say to me that after being on my stages, they've been asked to speak other places. Now they were asked to speak last minute and they had their whole story worked out. So they love telling their story there. And man, the story interweaves. And like, we've gotten clients and done some of that other cool stuff, but I really want to touch on the heart of where I feel my impact is. I had a couple of speakers now say to me that the act of telling their story actually changed the way they had been telling their story to themselves.
Wow.
Because one of the things you can't do in a story that you're telling other people on a stage is you cannot show up as a victim at all. Zero.
Yeah.
The audience has no time, no patience for you to get up and tell your victim story. It's not allowed on a stage. Right. So you must take ownership and responsibility for it. You got to see from a different perspective, like the audience, but also maybe other characters in your story. Yeah. And just the act of getting out of your own head about it can be so empowering. And so those are the things that I just love, that we got to do transformational work by doing stage work, promotional work, getting bigger and brighter, being seen work, and the fact that it transformed. Oh, just love that, Alison.
Yeah, that was so powerful how you said, the audience doesn't have time for your victim story. And guess what? Like, you don't have time for it either, people.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
You don't have time because it's holding you back. It's holding you back. So what a beautiful little nugget there, Amanda, of, changing the way you're telling your story to yourself so that you can move forward into an action state and take that story, use it as a way to serve you, because that will maybe inspire somebody else. But no matter what, like, you're inspiring yourself by like taking yourself out of victim mode and saying, oh, this is interesting. What opportunity comes out of this? How do I grow? Or just kind of saying, that happened. I'm going to move on. And it's not to say that of course, like, bad things happen, and acknowledge them, and like heal from them, like get help if you need help. But with all the things that are going on in the world around us in the news and the disparity that people feel sometimes, like, if you need therapy or need medication, like, go get that, right? Like, go get that help and support. And there's so many people that are going through similar things. And when we are open and sharing it in a way that is uplifting, that we see the light on the other side, it may inspire and empower other people that they can get to that light too.
Yeah, I want to say something else about that that has shifted for me recently, because after helping with dozens of these stories now, I'm starting to see some patterns. I'm starting to want to make sure that my shows have different kinds of stories represented and things like that. But one thing that keeps coming back to me in my mind is, well, okay, so I'll just get really real and vulnerable since it's you, Alison.
And all the listeners, but okay.
And all the listeners. There have been certain messages in my life that I wasn't able to hear until the right speaker said it. And one thing that's true about me, I'm a bigger lady, and us bigger ladies have certain challenges that not everybody has. Mm-hmm. And so I remember this one speaker getting up on stage, and for some reason, because she was a bigger lady, everything she said meant more to me, because she has lived a lot of my subtle challenges that you can't even describe or think about.
Right.
Like I can't even tell you what these challenges are because I live in it. Right.
Yeah.
So, but
too close to it.
Too close. Yeah. And, and so the fact that she was a reflection of me made her words just so much even more valuable. I was way more open to them. I didn't have as many defenses up. It was so amazing.
Yeah.
And so I think about that with my speakers. You may be saying something similar to other things you've heard, but trust me, someone is looking at you going, oh, now she's saying that? This is the 14th time I've heard it, but now that Alison said it, or Corrine said it, or, whoever else is listening, Jennifer said it.
Yeah.
Now that they're saying it, man, I have stuff in common with her. If she's saying it, it must be true.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yes, thank you. So we don't need just like the best stories or the news stories or the unique stories. Like, we need to tell every story that we can that's uplifting,
Yeah.
That's my philosophy.
I love that, Amanda. Thank you for just being so open and sharing that. I think that that's really what the show is all about, is getting to that point where we feel like, hey, like I might need to say this. And that seemed like a moment for you. And I think that that's so true, that there's very little new information out there, right? Like, if we get real, right, there's very little new information. It's really like how it's said, or who's saying it, or where we are in our own lives when we hear it. And maybe the time wasn't right in the past for you to hear those messages. So it's a combination of all the things, right? You being where you were in your path, that person having their experiences, and then those two things aligning, where you were there and she was telling the story and you were prepared to connect with whatever it was. And so, yes, tell every story, listen to every story. Listen, even if you think it doesn't connect with you, it might. And it might be something that you could relate to later on, right? That you could kind of grab onto what that person's experience was and learn from it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm about to become a parent.
Yes.
My husband and I are adopting, and we're like really close. Like, she is almost here, and I am like, oh my gosh, what were all those parent speakers that I was like, oh, that doesn't apply to me? I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to remember all of that.
Yeah. Well, just hit up Corrine. She can help you out. I know she's got all the parenting wisdom that you may need.
She does. Yes, she totally does. That's great.
Yeah, so that's so exciting. Oh my gosh, I wish we could talk more about that. Like, that would be such an exciting topic. But we'll come back and explore that a little bit on another episode, Amanda. Well, I know that you referred to it a couple of times, this new class that you're teaching called TEDx Prep Classes. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what this new virtual class is that you're doing?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so excited about it. TEDx, to me, TEDx and TED Talks represent, to me, one organization that's putting a higher standard on speakers out there. And I think that's one of the reasons they're pretty viral these days and very hot, is that all of their speakers have a couple things in common. They are not just someone getting up and rambling. They're not just victim stories. They're powerful. They teach a lesson. They are backed up with data a lot of times. There's certain values that the TED brand, is showcasing. And so, it has been my pleasure to coach some speakers that have gone on to audition for TED and speak on TED stages. And so in the process of doing that, I've learned a lot of like insider tips on what TED and TEDx are looking for. And some of it is location based, but some of it is very TEDx standard stuff. But if you want to get on that stage, which comes with a lot of credibility, you must get your speech up to this level and down to this number of minutes.
Yes.
You know, a lot of speakers that I work with are used to speaking for 45 minutes to an hour. Well, TED and TEDx are anywhere from 6 minutes to 18 minutes.
Right.
So that is a higher standard as well. So that's the class, is we take 8 weeks and we work in a group so that you're getting not just my feedback or my co-leader's feedback, but you're getting some feedback from the rest of the speakers too. Because again, you really want to double check, how is this phrase or this story hitting the audience who doesn't know my industry?
Yeah.
Because probably in order to give a TEDx talk, you've been in your industry for 10, 15, 20, 50 years, you know?
Right. Yeah.
You've been doing stuff for a while. So you're in it. You're too far gone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're just like, can't have an objective view of yourself. But this is a way for you to get that objective view on different segments of your talk for 8 weeks before you create an audition video.
Yeah.
That then you can send out.
Oh, it's so cool. So if you're watching, this class is really cool. I'm lucky enough to be able to be in it, and I'm really excited about my topic. And you know, I mean, the goal is to get on a TEDx stage, but it's really to craft my story and be able to really get clear on it and be able to inspire other people. And it certainly weaves some of my HR stories into the fold. So I'm really excited. We'll put some other information on the comment feed after the show is posted on Facebook. And I mean, I think, are you going to be running this class every month or every couple months, or what is the frequency?
The first actual class will run August of 2018. And so you're in the beta group with us, Alison. Okay. We're testing everything out and making sure it's great. And then we'll run one in August, and we'll just see how it goes from there. I mean, like I said, my life's about to change, so it might be once a year. I don't know, but I would love to train speakers to use those TED standards to get their speeches up a level or two. And, you know, I hope that you can use, in the meantime, before, after, during your TED adventure, use this talk to have just a better, more crystal clear talk anyways.
Yeah, it's awesome. And Amanda is also a speaker coach, so we'll have some information in the comments on how to get in touch with her. I'll pop them up here just so that you can see them briefly. And so, Amanda, I'm going to put up your website here. Hopefully this shows okay. Let's see what it looks like. It's going to scroll. I don't know why it does that. I'll figure that out some other time, but you can hit up her website. And she also has her phone number up there for you to reach out to her via text. She doesn't mess around. You just send her a text and she gets right on back to you. So if speaking is something that you're afraid of and feel like you have a story to tell, please hit her up. She's amazing, super heart-centered. You do not need to be here in Colorado to work with her. She's just so stinking amazing. You're just amazing.
Thank you, Alison.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel really blessed that a number of the people that are tuning in here live are actually people that I'm kind of friends with now. And it's all because you created those connections. And so awesome. So the very last thing on the show is, again, this is the first one ever. So we're coming to a close here. Really, really excited. What I would love for you in closing is to share with those that are watching what you feel is the heart of the matter.
I can honestly say the heart of my journey has been getting support. Getting support, do not go it alone. Even though you want to be independent, even though you definitely want to use your own learning and your own knowing, you must find others you trust and respect to support you and cheer you on and reflect to you and keep you out of your own little crazy ways of, holding yourself back or not seeing the bigger picture or not getting what you're really capable of.
Yeah. Ooh, that was good. That was good, Amanda. You froze up there, but I think that was so powerful there. Well, this has been super fun. The next episode is going to air on Friday. We'll be talking with another wonderful, inspiring coach that I've had the opportunity to work with. And so, again, my name is Alison Proffit. I'm founder of Amazing Journey Coaching. You can check out my website at www.amazingjourneycoaching.com. If you work in human resources and you are looking for some support in your journey, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk about some of those possibilities. Amanda's screen is still frozen, so I took her off of our screen here. But if you or somebody you know would be a great guest here on this show, we're looking for HR Rockstars, heart-centered leaders, truth tellers, and disruptors. Please have them get in touch with me. I'd love to have them on the show here. And in closing, just want to say, tune in to what your heart of the matter is so you can connect with your happiness. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you again sometime soon. And Amanda, I'm just going to have you pop up here. I just did my closing. Just wanted to say one more time, thank you so much for joining on this first episode. Totally blessed and a heart full of gratitude in your presence here with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Alison.
Yes.
Talk to you soon, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Great job, Alison.